Hey, fellow evolvers, Tina here. Welcome back to the space where we keep it real, raw, and honest. I'm not behind this mic because I've got life all figured out. I'm here because I don't. I'm still evolving, still healing, still learning how to choose myself every damn day. And maybe you are too. Here's the truth. Growth is messy. One minute you're on top of the world, the next you're Googling, why am I like this? While eating ice cream straight from the tub. Been there, done that. But no matter what today looks like for you, hear this. You're not alone. Something inside you hit play because you know it's time to do life differently. You've held it all together for everyone else. Now you're ready to show up for yourself. So let's start right where the real ripple effect begins, inside your head. Let me ask you this. Have you ever said something in your own mind that you'd never say to another human before? Like, girl, you look like crap, or girl, you're so lazy, or this is why nobody wants to talk to you. Same, okay? Like, I do this all the time. And then there's those tiny digs that feel harmless, but they drain your energy. They jack up our stress hormones and keep us stuck in this survival mode. So today we're flipping the script, okay? We're talking about how changing the conversation in your mind can change everything: your mood, your health, your entire life. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's turn that inner critic into your loudest hype woman. Ready? Let's get into it. All right, let's get real for a second. We all have that inner voice. You know the one. She's quick, she's harsh, and she can be relentless. She shows up uninvited when you glance in the mirror or instantly zeroes in on every flaw. She chimes in when you make a mistake, big or small, and hits you with, "See, told you you'd screw up." She replays the old awkward conversation from 3 days ago on a loop like it's a crime scene breakdown. And she loves whispering worst case scenarios about the future. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if you're not enough? And honestly, sometimes she's super loud. You can be like having a great day and then bam, one comment, one slip up, and she literally like hijacks your whole vibe. But here's what I didn't understand for years. That voice and those thoughts, they're not just background noise. They're literally running the whole show behind the scenes. Your inner dialogue affects everything: how you sleep, how you respond to stress, and how much energy you have, or should I say, don't have. Even how safe or unsafe you feel in your own body. I know that's crazy, but it's so true. So let me tell you something. When I stopped journaling years ago, when I stopped processing my emotions in like a healthy way, I started using food to cope because I wasn't dealing with what I was feeling. I was just thinking about it nonstop, spinning in circles, overanalyzing, beating myself up. And there's a big difference between thinking about something and processing it. Because thinking kept me stuck in a loop. Processing would have helped me move through it. But I didn't know what I know now. So I did what a lot of us do. I coped the best way I knew how. And for me, that was food. It was comfort for me. It was a distraction. And it was control. And that season of my life led to me gaining over 100 pounds. Not because I didn't know better and not because I didn't care about my health, but because I had no tools, no awareness to quiet that inner critic. So I just numbed her instead. And I'll be honest with you, she shows up from time to time. She hasn't disappeared, but now at least I know how to respond when she does. That's what these tools are about, not silencing your inner critic once and for all, because that's not realistic. We all talk to ourselves. That's normal. In fact, your inner voice can be your biggest cheerleader once you teach her how to be. So, this isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about learning how to catch those sneaky, destructive thoughts. Pause long enough to say, nope, not today, bitch, not today. And gently shift into something more helpful, like more honest, more kind to yourself. Because the goal isn't to never have a negative thought again, because it's going to happen. The goal is to not let it run the show. So, here are some of the tools that have helped me. Let's get into it, okay? Because it's one thing to notice the voice in your head, and it's another thing to know what the heck to do about it. And I want to be clear, these aren't magical fixes. They're not going to make your inner critic disappear forever. But what they will do is give you something to reach for in the moment. Something real that actually helps you shift out of the spiral and into something that feels a little more grounded, a little more you. So, here are a few tools that have truly helped me and still help me every time I start getting lost in my own head. 1, talk to yourself like a coach, not a critic. This one is simple but powerful. Instead of saying, I can't believe you did that, try saying something like, come on, Tina, it's okay. You've handled harder. Let's just take the next right step. Talk to yourself the way that you talk to like a friend who's struggling. You wouldn't call her a failure, would you? Like you wouldn't roll your eyes at her, and you definitely wouldn't say like you suck. You'd say breathe, you've got this, or like yeah, just take it one step at a time. Or you know what? Even better, use your own name. And I know that sounds a little weird, but trust me, it works. You would say something like, "Hey, Tina, you're okay. You're figuring it out. You're doing the best you can." This is called like the distance self-talk. And research shows it actually helps you step back from the emotion and think more clearly. It's like switching out of panic mode into a wise advice mode, if you will. 2, write it out. Be messy and honest, literally. I forgot how much journaling used to help me until I stopped doing it. You don't need to be a writer, and you don't need to have a fancy pen or leather-bound notebook, although I love a nice notebook. I'm a fiend. I'm a junkie for journals. I have so many of them. Anyways, another topic. But just sit down for 10 or 20 minutes and just dump it all out. Do not filter it and don't fix your grammar. Just literally keep writing and writing and writing. If you only can do it for 10 minutes, no big deal. But 20 minutes is really the prime spot. Just write the raw truth of what you're really feeling and what you're really thinking. Sometimes it's not about fixing the thought. It's just about getting it out of your own head. That alone can make a huge difference. Journaling is literally processing, and when you don't process it, we carry it. So letting that energy out on paper is so helpful. 3, move your body, shift your mind. When I'm overwhelmed, I literally clean or I'll walk. Something about moving helps my mind settle. If I can't get clarity, I'll go outside, even if it's just to stand in the sun for like a few minutes. I love standing on my deck because I can hear the birds chirping, the wind going. It's super calming because nature has its way of bringing you back to the present moment. You start noticing little things like the trees, the breeze, the birds, and suddenly the thoughts don't even feel as loud anymore. And sometimes the best thing you can do for your mind is just get out of it. 4, check the timeline. This one kind of saved me more times than I can count. You would ask yourself, how will I feel about this next week, say next month, or even next year, or even like tomorrow? Because in the moment, everything feels super big. But most of the things we lose sleep over, we barely even remember a few weeks later. This helps you zoom out and realize this too will pass. It always does. Have you ever heard the saying, it always gets worse before it gets better? That's literally what it is. So when things get really tough, just know they're going to get better. 5, shift your senses. When your mind is spinning out of control, your senses can anchor you. Light a candle, put on some music, smell something calming, stretch, change the energy in your space, and your mind will often follow. Your nervous system doesn't always need a lecture. It just needs a signal that you're safe. And those signals can be super simple. The point of all this isn't to fix you, okay? Because you're not broken. It's just to remind you that you have options. You're not at the mercy of your thoughts. You have tools, you have awareness, and you have way more power than you realize. So let's talk about the self-talk traps, because we normalize negative self-talk because we've done it for so long. We don't even realize it's happening sometimes because it starts super small, like, I'm so dumb, or I look disgusting today. Of course I messed that up. And then we laugh it off and call it sarcasm. We think we're being realistic, but the voice becomes the soundtrack of your life. And what you hear over and over again, you start to believe. And what you believe, you act on. That's why this matters so much, because if your inner dialogue is constantly criticizing you, you keep living like someone who isn't worthy. And girl, you are fucking worthy. Even on your messiest, most chaotic, haven't showered in 2 fucking days kind of day, you are worthy. So the thought spiral, let's be honest, once one negative thought gets in, it's like a domino effect. You start with, I'm behind on everything, and suddenly it's, I'll never catch up. I'm such a mess. I'm failing at life. Sound familiar? It's a slippery slope. And sometimes the spiral happens so fast, you don't even realize it. But here's something that's helped me every time. When I notice the spiral starting, I say out loud, this is a story, not a fact. It's just a thought. It's not the truth. And you get to choose whether or not you believe it. Because not all your thoughts are true. Sometimes I've literally said stop or no, not in like a mean way, but like in a firm mama bear kind of way. It's like setting a boundary with your own brain, because if I don't catch it, it'll just keep spiraling. And the longer I spiral, the longer I stay stuck in stress, shame, and self-doubt. So I interrupt the thought. I pause and I say something more helpful, not fake positive, just kind. So like instead of saying, I'm so behind, I'll say, I've been carrying a lot lately and it's okay to move at my own pace. Or instead of you're failing, I say, hey, you know what? You're trying, and that counts for something. It doesn't have to be picture perfect, okay? It just has to be more truthful than the lie your inner critic is yelling in your ear. And maybe this is the most important thing I can say today. You're not the only one who feels like this. You're not the only one who's hard on herself. And you're definitely not the only one who spirals, who doubts, who feels like she's never doing enough. But you don't have to stay there, and you don't have to do it all alone. This is the work, okay? Learning to notice the voice and challenging it and replacing it with something more lovable. Not perfect or poetic, just more loving. Okay, so let's just slow it down for a second. You've got some more tools now, but sometimes the most powerful one is just sitting with your own truth. If you're in a season where your mind feels heavy or your thoughts have been running the show, these prompts are here to bring you back to yourself, to help you stop the spin, to tune in and shift the story. You don't need the perfect time or mood. You just need to start. So here are a few prompts to get you going. Choose the one that speaks to you and answer them when you're ready. So 1, What's something I said to myself recently that I would never say to someone I love? Let it out, see it on paper. You might be shocked at how harsh it sounds once it's no longer just floating around in your head. 2, what do I actually need right now? Not that I think I should be doing, but what do I genuinely need? Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's like a cry in the shower. Whatever it is, name it. 3, what's one small win I haven't given myself credit for this week? We're so quick to criticize, but terrible at celebrating ourselves, even if it's, I got out of bed when I didn't feel like it. That literally counts because that matters. 4, what would I say to a friend who was thinking the same thoughts I'm having right now? Literally write it like a letter if you want, then reread it as if it was written for you. 5, what's the loudest thought in my head right now? And what's a more truthful, compassionate version of that thought? So here's an example. Your loud thought, I am so fucking behind in life right now. The truthful reframing it would be something more like, I'm moving at my own pace. I'm doing what I can with what I have at the time. 6, what does my inner coach sound like? What would she say to me today? So like, give her a voice, give her a name if you want. Let her speak over the critic kindly, clearly, and with love. So let this be a soft place to land, not a place to fix yourself, but a place to hear yourself. That's where everything literally begins. So here's what I want you to remember before we close off this episode. You are not your thoughts. You are not the mean voice in your head, and you're not the spiral, the doubt, or the shame. You're just the one hearing all of it. And if you can hear it, you can definitely shift it and change it. You can pause it. You can reframe it. You can choose another thought because that inner critic might still show up sometimes, but now you're not powerless to her. Now you have the tools, you have the awareness, and now you know there's a softer voice inside you, the one who's been quietly waiting for permission to take the mic. So the next time that inner critic shows up, pause, take a breath, and let your inner coach speak louder. Because the way you talk to yourself, it fucking matters. It shapes how you feel, how you move, and how you heal. And you, my friend, are worthy of being spoken to with love, even by your own mind. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's fucking true. So if this episode gave you a moment of clarity, maybe some peace, or even permission to be a little kinder to yourself, I'd love to hear about it. Email me at talk@evolvingwithtina.com or connect with me on IG at The Evolution of Tina. And if you know someone who's been stuck in their own head lately, share this with her. That small act, that's invisible support, and we all need more of that. And before I go, if this episode hit home, if you're tired of just surviving and you're craving something deeper, a real sense of peace, clarity, and the kind of self-trust you didn't even know was missing until now, then get on my wait list for Deeply Rooted. It's not some surface level, feel better kind of thing. It's healing from the inside out. It's for the woman who's done abandoning herself and finally ready to come home to who she actually is. So the wait list is open now. Just head to the link in my bio to save your spot. I can't wait to walk this journey with you. So until next time, my beautiful evolvers, keep evolving, keep glowing, and never stop showing up for yourself because you matter. Much love.